Welcome back to Talks and Takes. In today's special episode, Landon Smith will be interviewing Julie Headrick, the broadcasting teacher at Talmadge High School. They will go into the deep dive of content creation in the Devil's Tale broadcast. Now, on to the rest of the episode.
How did the Devil's Tale go from a newspaper to a multimedia outlet? Like it used to be a newspaper before, and now it's turned into this YouTube channel with a bunch of videos on it and stuff.
So when I first took over the journalism program, it was my second year of teaching. So it was in 2001, and we only did newspapers. So we did a monthly newspaper. I taught them graphic design, those different things. And then, in the course of those 20 years, obviously things started to change. People were more involved in getting information from the internet, from websites and things like that.
Staying with the time.
So, as newspapers died out across the country, the interest and what my students wanted to be doing evolved. And so in fall of 2019, my students approached me about starting a website and if we could get digital content. So we launched our first website in October of 2019, and the timing of it was very convenient, and we didn't know it was going to be so convenient because then in spring of 2020 is where the whole world went online because of COVID. And so we very conveniently already had something in place. So we started putting our information out in digital content, even when we were at home. And we were working just from, each home, and we had, Google Classes and things like that. So then when we had Google Classes, that was when we realized that we could do a feed, and we could feed and record and do shows. So we actually did some shows during our stay home time. We did Friday shows. We interviewed the superintendent. We interviewed seniors that were losing their senior year. And so that kind of helped it to evolve. And then the other big thing that we started doing was, and also in the fall of 2019, Mr. Johnson came to me, and he was the basketball coach at the time. And he said he was interested in doing something similar to ESPN's College Game Day. And so he wanted to do it here at the school. And he wanted to know if my students would be interested in doing that. And so I presented it to them. And so that was the first year, that December of 2019, where we did a live broadcast. So we created our YouTube channel. And ironically, once we created our YouTube channel, then when COVID happened, the schools actually took over our YouTube channel because we already had it established. And then that's how the schools started doing online things. But that's kind of how it evolved. So with the change in media, and then my students wanting to stay up with the times, and then just the way that everything came together was kind of how that evolved, and it's evolved. It continues to evolve each year.
So at the beginning of the school year, Devil's Tale had 50 something subs, and now it's more than doubled. Why do you think the channel's had more growth lately?
I think two main reasons. I think that the quality of the product that my students are putting out this year has more engagement and more entertainment. They're doing things that students want to tune into and see what they're doing the next week. And I think that number two, we're more consistently putting content out. So when they know that there's going to be a video every Friday for TGIF.
You can do a weekly video.
Last year was the first year we had a broadcast class. So that was the first year that I had students that they created TGIF, and the goal was to do it every Friday, but we didn't always meet that goal. So I would say definitely the consistency of getting out videos each week. And then just, I think because these students that I have this year saw what last year's kids were doing, and either joined the class because they wanted to do it, or they thought that they could do it better than what they did. And they've definitely increased the quality of what we're producing.
Is it hard not having control over a majority of the content creation process because you're only involved in the distribution process?
Yeah.
For me as a perfectionist, it would be annoying if the quality of the videos I didn't have any control over.
Yeah.
I like having control over the entire content creation process when I make content? Is it like frustrating when like the thumbnail's bad or like the editing?
Um, I think that there's an element of frustration. No, there's an element of frustration, but I think because it's a learning environment that I treat it as like, okay, we're learning from this experience. Like, okay, we didn't hit our deadline last week. We didn't get it out on time. Why didn't we get it out on time? We could have spent more time earlier, getting our interviews done earlier, doing things, so just treating each experience as like, okay, this is a learning experience for my students. They are not, we create professional content. That's our goal. Like student journalism is not, it's student journalism, but it's still professional. It's still going just out and being distributed to a wider audience. But there's that element that they're still learning, and even professional journalism, there's mistakes that are made and there's things that aren't as good as it could have been. I have always been a big proponent of the project-based learning and releasing that control, that it's not, I'm teaching the students what to do, but I'm not in charge of what they necessarily think the content should be. So sometimes I would make different choices, but I also understand that it's their project and their engagement is because they have the ability to choose that kind of stuff. I don't think that if I came in and was like, we're going to do this kind of video, I want you to interview this person, I want you to do this, I don't think the quality is going to be as good because their passion for it isn't going to be there.
And how involved are you in the distribution process? Do you let the groups pick the title and stuff, or in the description?
Yeah, they as I've learned and I've taught it more, there's things like expectations, like you have, like, this is the first year I've required them to do a thumbnail. Like, even just like me learning, like, okay, now we know how to make the video. Okay, so now when we're going to distribute it, there should be a thumbnail, there should be a description, there should be hashtags.
There's been a lot more growth lately.
I would agree too. Yeah, I think having the thumbnails, having a description, understanding that pulls in people outside of our target audience. Our target audience are our students, but we're distributing it to anybody that has YouTube access. So, we could have, we could analyze the subscribers and see, I just assume they're Talmadge people. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're people from other schools and stuff that are watching what we're doing, which would be really cool.
What is the most difficult part of managing a freelance YouTube channel? Being like, you're not making the content, you just like in charge of that.
My worry is my trust with my students is that, I'm the one that uploads it, but I do have one student who I've shared the credentials with and has the ability to upload his stuff himself. I've had my students run the social media. So like, I have to make sure like they don't always come to me and are like, okay, watch this. This is what we're going to post today. Like sometimes they post a video or they post something and I trust them that they're following the journalistic principles, that they're following school rules, that they're doing things. So my overall worry is that somebody's going to take advantage of that and post something or do something that they shouldn't, and it's being distributed under the school's name. That would be what I try.
Okay. How do you feel about short form content?
Can you define short form content to me?
Like short.
Okay, so the only difference that I know, and you might know more about this than I do, because I learn as I go. The only thing that I know about difference with the shorts is that the shorts are filmed vertically instead of horizontally. Like that's how YouTube defines a short versus a video. Mm-hmm. And I think I haven't talked to anybody at the school about why that's blocked. I think it's blocked because more social media like TikTok and Reels and some of those that they think are less journalistic or less school appropriate are generally filmed that way. That would be my guess. Do I think it should be banned? No, I don't think that there's much difference between what a video is and what a short is. It's just how it's filmed. The content could be inappropriate in either one. It just depends on that,
You don't have any plans on making? You don't make the Devil's Tail doesn't make a lot of shorts, do they?
No, because it's not something, so generally we do videos where they're filmed horizontally. But like last year, our class commercials were shorts. I mean, they were filmed that way. So I don't know if it's new that because they weren't blocked. Those weren't blocked. So I don't know if it's just a new thing.
Is there a Devil's Tail TikTok or no?
There is. Yes.
You upload on there a lot or no?
We are students in our class too. Yeah. I would say that this isn't a direct question that you've asked, but that's another difficult thing is passing down the credentials from year to year. So like we got blocked out of the TikTok that we've used for the last 3 years for Devil's Tail. So we had to create a new one this year. And it's disappointing for me because now we've lost. We got blocked. Yeah. We got locked out of the account that we've used for the last 3 years in passing down the credentials from one student to another because it's like the Devil's Tail account. So it's not the student's account anyway. So we had to create a new one. So we lost all the followers. We don't have those videos. I mean, they're still there. We just don't have access to it.
Do you have any plans for any other series? Like right now you have the TGIF Senior Spotlight, Talmadge Taste. Are you good with those 3 right now? Or you have any plans for any more series?
I'm good with those 3, but I also operate that if the students came to me and were like, hey, we want to start doing this or we are interested in doing this, like it's really student driven. I mean, sometimes I present ideas to them, but if they're not interested in it, then like I said earlier, the content's not going to be as good and their desire to do it each week isn't going to be there.
What are your strengths and weaknesses when it comes to content creation?
My personal strengths and weaknesses with content. I think one of the things that I try to emphasize with the students is making it timely. So something like looking at things that are happening in the world or in the school and connecting whatever you're doing to that. So whether it's in TGIF, like interviewing the cross country runners that just went to state, like things that are pertinent to what's happening right now, because there's going to be people that are more invested in that. So I think one of my strengths is like paying attention to what's happening and trying to follow trends or, if there's something that keeps showing up on TikTok, okay, can we do something similar in what we're creating? What was the second part of your question?
Strengths and weaknesses.
Honestly, just the technology side of it. Sometimes fixing volume. I know fixing volume. It's just not a strength of mine. So when students come to me, like, how do I change the volume on this? Like, I don't know. That's not my strength. So we can try and figure it out together, but I don't have all that knowledge.
If you hit 500 subs, do you have plans on selling merch? Because
is that what we can do?
I think if you hit 500
so
subs,
fun.
You can sell merchandise and make
yeah. How many do we need to be verified?
Verified? I have no idea. I think it might be 1,000. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I would love for it to keep growing. I mean, it's awesome to think about that people are paying attention to what we're doing. And I think that that's where some of the student desire comes in to do something well, is that it's not just, that's part of project-based learning too, is that your audience isn't just the teacher grading something. You're not producing it for me, you're producing it for somebody else. And so that, your desire to want to create something good should be higher.
How do you deal with conflict in all these video groups? Like discussions arise or disagreements in these groups?
Sometimes it depends on what's going on. Sometimes I'll have a group meeting and I'll sit and listen to different sides and kind of try to moderate and make sure that they're listening to each other. Sometimes I have individual conversations. Sometimes those are private, like, hey, this concern was brought to me. Can you let me know your side? Let me know how things are happening, like what your perspective is on it. What do you think we should do moving forward? What can I do? So that's part of my questions each week and the reflections that you guys do. So part of the assignment is each student answering 6 questions about, the video, like what did you contribute? What were the obstacles? How did you guys overcome the obstacles? What did you learn from it? And then how can I help? And so if students say this is something that, for example, if I can use an example from you, you saying I thought it was beneficial when we met as a group each week at the beginning of the week, and me as the teacher forcing you guys to do that, and just as a reminder to me, okay, that's beneficial, because some students find it beneficial, some students don't, but for me to think okay, this is something that people benefit from, so I want to make sure that that's part of what we're doing each day, or at least on a consistent weekly basis. So taking the feedback and then just working with each kid on what they need.
What personality traits are the best to see in a video? Like you're watching the video and you can like tell like some kids are better at this than others.
Some that just their energy level. Like sometimes, you know, you can tell someone's comfort level in being in front of a camera. But oftentimes it's how much energy, like I think like when Preston is interviewing somebody or he's presenting something, like that his natural charisma and his personality comes through very clearly. And then I have
too much energy can be a bad thing. Like Alina was like smiling a lot.
I agree. Well, sometimes people have things that mannerisms that they do when they feel nervous. And so it can come across like in a way that you're like, okay, that doesn't really work for that. Yeah, and it depends on the content too. Like, you know, sometimes the energy and enthusiasm doesn't work if you have a more serious topic. So, you know, I think the students that can align what the topic is, who they're interviewing with their presentation of it, and really kind of setting the right tone. The other thing that I would say that I try to work with students on is like that they're actually listening to what the people are saying. And sometimes they have filler like responses, like there's different, like I already said, mannerisms, but sometimes there's things that people say every time too, in response, you know? And so to get them to break out of that is a big part of it too.
What do you do in the summer when there's no students to make the content? Just take a break?
We don't do anything, which is a negative factor with the consistency. Yeah. Like I'm super sad that we don't have a broadcast class next semester. So like announcements are going to end, videos are going to end, like all these things that students are invested in and we have an audience that are looking at. So without a class next semester, then we're not even going to do anything again until the fall. So we've built this momentum and you want the momentum to keep going forward and it's going to stop.
Right.
And that makes me sad as the educator.
Is content creation your major interest? Because you also do the yearbook, right? And
I do the yearbook, yes. Is it my major interest? No. My major interest is getting students to be invested in what they are creating and doing. So if their product is the yearbook or their product is a video or they're, you know, creating content for social media, like whatever it is that they are doing that the student is invested in and passionate about it. That's my main thing.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have.
All right.
So thank you for joining me for the interview.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking the questions. Those were good questions.
Hope you guys enjoyed my interview with Julie Headrick. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode when we interview a family and consumer sciences teacher.